I had never had a specific desire to visit Israel, as I always thought that I would come here often in the new millennium to visit Jesus and so forth. But early on in 2024, I suddenly one day had a feeling and a desire to come to Israel. So I contacted a couple of organizations, and soon the Christian Friends of Israel came back to me and scheduled an interview with me. As time progressed, however, I won this competition with Start Entrepreneuring, Nico Janse van Rensburg and Ronald Potgieter. And so by the time my interview came with Christian Friends of Israel, I told them that I will not be able to come to Israel anymore, as Nico and Ronald were prepared to invest a considerable amount of time and energy in my business. And it wasn't long when I got a message back from CFI saying that they would be prepared to wait for me. And so in January of this year, we started the applications, and I landed here on the 31st of April, 2025. Initially, I moved into Dovgrune, a street in Talpiot, East Talpiot, with a wonderful little, all the buildings in Israel, in Jerusalem, is made from this white stone. That is actually a requirement to build here, and it's a very expensive stone to build from. And I soon settled in, and in my role as the operations manager at CFI under Tristan Hall, who is the executive director. CFI occupies the offices on the sixth floor of the central bus station in the middle of Jerusalem, and they are also a block away on the. They have their distribution center, where I am in the operations room. So, as the operations director, my work involves the maintenance and cleaning of HQ, the distribution center, as well as the warehouses and the storerooms, the apartments, and the maintenance and the care of the vehicles. And as they moved from more of their offices from HQ down to the DC in December of last year, I arrived here to an utter chaos. Nothing is in order, everything's standing around everywhere. So my first job is to move, to create order and to move things from one building to another. And I landed up, when I got here, that I basically was without a team. Only the girls were here, and they were the cleaning and cooking team. So I had no men. And luckily, we had a couple of short-term volunteers who could help us move things around. In my first week, I also had the wonderful opportunity to be with the South African Friends of Israel at the Friends of Zion Museum, where they invited members of our parliament as well as members of the Israeli Knesset, some pastors and people, all in the quest to establish relations between South Africa and Israel that have deteriorated over time. I had my first Pesach on Easter here, and here you can see me carrying boxes because this is what we do. The girls and the boys here all do physical work, as that is the only way that it works here. So, as I was saying earlier, having to get everything in order that wasn't in order is a very big task that's assigned to me. And for instance, right now I am having to clear the warehouse to make space for almost 500,000 baby nappies, because we receive donations from around the world that we have to distribute throughout Israel to various organizations. Um, and um, last, when I just got here, we received a container full of tackies and quilts and fleece blankets and all sorts of other things, pots, pans, crockery, which I have managed to distribute most of it already. And from there, I still have to clear all the clutter out of the warehouse. So I'm sitting in a little bit of a position where I would clean out, unpack a storeroom, load it in the van, move it to the warehouse, which is around the block, come back with the van, create order in the storeroom, go back to the warehouse, fetch all the items and bring it back. So it's a monumental task, but my team members are back now, Elias and Steve, and so at least I'm not on my own. Um, we also have I could spend Easter with at the garden tomb, which was a wonderful privilege for me. I learned to drive on the wrong side of the road. I'm having to drive a van. I've learned to parallel park. I haven't done that in 30 years. So the Lord is definitely um, broadening my horizons and teaching me that I'm capable of much more than what I ever thought. I also visited the Western Wall and the Temple Mount, where we are under constant rocket attacks. In Jerusalem, it's not as bad as up north, but it's happened to us in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day. And at that point, you have to get out of your vehicle. You can see us here getting out of the bus. On the other photograph, we got out of the car on the highway and we had to sit next to the car. So, because the Iron Dome is so efficient, it is not the rockets that we have to really avoid. It is the shrapnel from the Iron Dome catching it. And I realized that without Jesus, this is a very frightening experience for most people. The day this happened, that we had to climb off the bus, um, a woman started wailing in the bus in front of us, and many people here suffer from PTSD, and so it's a very very unhealthy situation. Here are some two short-term volunteers. People come for a week, and they just come and give their hands, and it's a wonderful for us to have them around to help us with all the work that we have to do. So CFI is running 10 different projects. Here's a day we had for veterans. So on the right you can see Sharon Saunders, the older lady. She started CFI with her husband 40 years ago. CFI is the only Christian organization that is registered in Israel and not overseas. And they have, over the years, worked very, very hard. Derek Prince and Chris Mitchell, very well-known names, all sit on the board of CFI. This was a veterans lunch that we gave 2 weeks ago, mainly Russian veterans that came through. And Russian is almost the third language in Israel now after Hebrew and Arabic. David Shield is a project where we ministered to the IDF. You can see here we went to Ramallah 2 weeks ago, and we did nails, hair, massages, and just ministered to them. We took gifts of quilts and tackies, and so many people ask why we need to give to the IDF, but the IDF was never geared up for the quantity of reservists that they had to call up. And so those reservists, when they, I think in this last month, they called up 60,000 more reservists. These guys literally get in their cars and go park at a mall or wherever and join their units. They come in their uniforms that they wore when they were last in the army, whether it was 10 or 20 years ago, and they don't have all the equipment that they need. They don't have proper bedding, and so we donate drones, bulletproof vests, and so forth to these units. This specific day that we ministered in Ramallah was it's the lone soldiers. So these are volunteers from all around the world, mainly youngsters who come and witness. So you hear absolutely any and every language around there. Forsake Them Not is our project that reaches out to the Holocaust survivors. On a weekly basis, they visit them around the country, encouraging them, taking them gifts, and witnessing to them. This particular photograph was taken last week of one of the last Holocaust survivors from that Oskar Schindler rescued. Under his wings, deals specifically with any terror victims, um, ministering to them and giving them the equipment that they need. First Fruits deals with the believers in Israel. Many of them don't have, for instance, musical equipment or other items for their churches, but they are already believers, and most of them Jewish. So we reach out to them to see where we can help. First Fruits was born out of the founders' belief in tithing. Communities under attack responds with relief funds in various areas. About 3 weeks ago, I went on a visit to Shlomi, which is right on the Lebanese border. These people, the lady there with the blonde hair, they literally woke up one morning and saw the soldiers from Hezbollah storming across the border down the mountain, and she grabbed her. I think she's got 5 children. She grabbed her children. They were in their pajamas and fled. And they only came back after a year and a half. The town, almost 90% of the people fled the town, and their houses were ruined, rats and all sorts of vermin. So we've been helping them rebuild. We've been donating appliances, ovens, microwaves, fridges. And the day that we went to Shlomi, we were welcomed by the city council, who also gave us lunch. People stopped us on the street. It was so amazing to see the regard in which we as Christians were held by this community. And during our lunch, a rabbi walked off the street into the hall and said to us, "Thank you for what you did, and please take this message home, that because you are blessing Israel, your homes and your countries will be blessed." And I that God brings that to the forefront for me almost on a daily basis, and I can see that He is truly faithful. Streams of Blessing is where we bring comfort to individuals and communities in Israel that are disadvantaged and destitute. So we reach out to them on a regular basis. Open Gates provides aid to new immigrants, people who make Aliyah. When the Ukraine war started, we had people lined around the building a block away for help and equipment and having their needs met. We have a bridal salon where people from all over the world send bridal dresses and accessories. We have suits for grooms and for bridesmaids. So prospective brides come to our salon and we kit them out for their wedding day. And it's one of our most beautiful projects. Hope for the Future empowers the Ethiopian community in Israel. We also have, for instance, sewing classes for them, and it's a ongoing support for them. And then last but not least, we have the Wall of Prayer, which is an ongoing intercession for Israel, from people around the world that get together on Zoom and pray with us and for the various needs that have been identified in Israel. And so this weekend I moved into a different apartment, and I am very excited about what the Lord is doing in Israel. And I am very thankful that you guys are interested to know what is going on here, because I found out that what we hear on the news and in the media is lies both ways. And so I trust that you will pray with us and for us, not only for Israel, but also for South Africa. And if you are ever interested in supporting CFI, our website is www.cfijerusalem.org, where you can either donate money or find out what you can pray for. And if you are ever interested to visit Israel, you are more than welcome to pop in for a day or 2 days or 3 days or 3 weeks to come and assist us in the work that we do. Thank you for your time, and I really pray the Lord's blessing on the relationship between Israel and South Africa, and for all of you. And thank you.